Hello, this is Dr. Taylor. Now, I didn't really want to show myself because you've seen enough of my head. Here's some pretty flowers while I talk to you about lit reviews. Here's the deal. Lit reviews, or reviews of literature, are two different things. Sometimes we mean the process that you're going through to discover important things related to your topic. And sometimes we mean the paper or the chapter that is the product that you write, is the end product of the process. Now, as I typed out in the lesson, the process is simply you're investigating, you're discovering new things, you're learning, and you're learning, most importantly, what are the important things that are in multiple research publications. Now, you're going to have some things that are research publications, some that are based on research. Research publications always have, how they selected the participants. And then that's how you know. But the research-based ones will just state facts from a research study. Either way, there are important journal articles that have been peer-reviewed, which is what we want to see mostly. You can have books, you can have other kinds of articles, but they don't count as heavy, and it shouldn't be the bulk of your lit review. So you investigate primarily peer-reviewed research articles, and you decide from looking at them, you see trends and you see things that are critical to your question. If you're about how to investigate or how to implement programs for kindergarten readers, there's plenty of research on that, and there will be a pattern in what factors they consider important. So just keep reading until you see the pattern, and then you know what are the major sections of your lit review product. And in the meanwhile, you're going through the process mentally, you're doing that checklist, and you're honing your question. So for the kindergarten reading, it could be as simple as what are the things that impact or increase achievement in reading at kindergarten level the most, and or it could be that you look through that list and you investigate one factor that you think might actually make a bigger difference, and maybe using group discussions to investigate and understand better what each page in a book means, and some particular format. So you just keep trying, you just keep reading until you see patterns and you catch on to one thing. And your one thing right now, you might have the one thing in mind. You may have started with a one thing. Now, so either the research will support it, or it will say, we've already done that, we know the answer, and you need to investigate this other thing. So you go through that process, and you narrow it down, and you either support the question, or you change the question, and then you write up the paper that supports it. So either way, you really need to start with your lit review. You don't really start with the introduction. You already know it's a big problem. You probably know how to generally make the argument. Once you've read enough for the lit review, you can go back to your introduction and cite enough things that say how important it is and describe the problem in detail using the literature. So it's really about you coming up with this structure in your mind and those fine details that are supported in the literature. Now, once you have a list of fine details that are supported in the literature and that you really think is a focus that's going to help in your context, well, guess what? That's primarily the conceptual framework. You've built a network of ideas. There's probably a given name for the overall structure of that. We will go over conceptual frameworks, and we will talk about theoretical frameworks, which are even more important. But we'll do that. I'll post that tomorrow. But for now, just think of Lit Review as a journey, an investigation, a following of the clues. If you haven't done a lot of Lit Reviews before, here's the practical stuff. Are you ready for this? 1, it will take you a while to get the right keywords to find 1 or 2 good research articles. 2, when you find those research articles, look at the references, because they have a bunch of really good references that you need to look up and read some of those. 3, when you find several good articles, you'll notice a pattern, and that a few people are experts in that area, that very specific area that you're studying. Look the authors up, not just the names. And as you do those basic steps, do a general search on keywords, do a specific search on the topics that come up the most, and then do the author search based on who comes up the most. You will have most of the literature for your Lit Review. So that's how to get started, and that's how to keep going. So once you get in the right databases and you hit a few good articles, you've pretty much got a trail to follow. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about how you get to thinking about a theoretical framework that's going to help you make your connections in a deeper way. And I know that sounds kind of crazy if you haven't done it before, but I will give you some really good practical examples, including what I should have done on my dissertation, to help you understand the difference between a theoretical framework and a conceptual framework. But for now, really dig into your topic. Last thing, I just got off the phone with one of the students in this class, and she had been throwing questions back and forth and topics back and forth, and she was on foster kids. Now she's on ELA or ELL, depending on who you are and whose initials you think are important, or acronym. We're looking for the topic that you love, that floats your boat, that you are excited about, and that you're planning to spend the next year or two, and possibly the next several years, moving that direction. So there's a lot of good topics, but you need to talk with people until you narrow down the thing that's going to make the biggest impact where you are, and the biggest impact in your heart, because you've got a heart for those students. Because service is what Carson Newman is about. Service is what teaching is about. And our doctoral program is about you serving your students and your people in your community about education. And so as long as you're passionate about it, we're going to narrow down the topic in this process. Don't be afraid to contact me to have a personal conversation. You can do this with any faculty member at Carson Newman. I just want you to know that I'm available, and as part of this class, it's one of my expectations that eventually you're going to call me and say, is this a good topic? And we'll go back and forth, and I'll make sure that it's something you're passionate about, and I'll try to give you a little starting point. So text me. My number's on the course page. It's 865-256-0767. Text me, give me your name, and just like this student today, it was, please call me during this time slot or that time slot so that we can talk about my topic. And I did, and I got the message, and a few hours later I was able to call in the time zone that she mentioned, and we worked that out so she can go confidently on through the course knowing that this really is going to be her topic. So please know that as part of this whole process, it's not just what I do online, but it's our personal conversations that will also make a big difference in your learning curve and your comfort. So text me and set up a conversation, and let's talk, and let's get you going in the right direction. I will see you online tomorrow, where I will add a video specifically on conceptual and theoretical frameworks. Have a good day and enjoy this pretty flower.